Hello, I'm James Marshall. I'm the head coach of Excelsior Athletic Development Club, and I've run my own small business for 22 years, Excelsior Athletic Training. I'm here to talk to you about a presentation I did for a leisure organisation a couple of weeks ago called Finding True North. They're having a problem motivating their staff and finding out what their true purpose was. So here's what I did for them. Finding True North. Before we start off, we need to know where we're going. So one of us might be going to the North Pole, but others think we're going to Melbourne or London or Paris. So where are we going? It's very important that we all know the right direction. So first thing we have to do is understand the staff. Anyone in a leadership position who goes in and tries to change things without understanding staff is doomed for failure. Every member of staff is different, although they might look similar. They've all got different motivations. You might think they know what they're doing because they look like it. They're in the right area. They've got the right kit, but they may not. Staff start in different places. For example, I might be starting in the Arctic Circle. That's a pretty good place to start for the North Pole, I expect. Whereas others might be starting in the Bahamas. Now, the important thing in leadership is not to start the journey where you are, is to start the journey where they are. So where your staff are. So if they're in the Bahamas, you have to go there to meet them and explain where we're going. Trying to get them up to where you are straight away, again, likely to fail. Best way to understand your staff is to listen to them. You need to be able to ask good questions and pay a particular attention to what they're saying rather than gap fill or just trying to answer the questions for them or portraying them as something they're not. Too often leaders are telling them their thoughts rather than actually listening to the people. You need to know the nuts and bolts of the organization, what their job is. You don't have to do their job for them, but you understand what it is they actually do on a day-to-day basis. This does not mean asking them to write out a job description. Okay, there's nothing, the people who are a mechanic may be brilliant at fixing cars, but they're terrible at writing out job descriptions. They may be good. So you have to, again, spend time with the staff, see what they do, see what the day-to-day tasks are, see what the big obstacles are. This takes patience, understanding, and good observation skills. Once you understand the staff, you need to have a look at the customer journey. So the customer journey could be, if you're in a sporting environment, could be the athletes you're working with, if the staff are the coaches and volunteers. These could be the athletes you're working with, or in businesses, it's the actual customers, people who pay money to come and use your facility or support your business. Some customers have a very clear direction of where they're going. It's aligned with yours. They're pretty self-sufficient. They can get on with it. These are ideal customers, perhaps, but they're also few and far between. These customers may all look like they're heading in the same direction, but there's 1,000 different motivations behind them. Too many to actually process. So although these people seem to have something in common, the idea that they're protesting against, really there's 1,000 different motivations underlying them. It's too many to fathom. So we can simplify this by doing something called profiling. So for the leisure environment, for example, is categorizing the customers into different groups so we can each understand their particular motivations. It simplifies things. So for example, in health clubs, you might have the gym bro who's following an app or a program he's read online. He knows what he's doing. He watches 1,000 YouTube videos every day to get the latest tips. He's got all the supplements that he needs. He has a good idea of what he's doing, or he thinks he knows what he's doing. Then you've got young people who want to play sport. Some of them might be competitive, but the others just like the actual chasing a ball or a shuttlecock around, being with their friends. There's a different group there. They're not interested in getting fit to play sport. They're playing sport to get fit and be active and have friends. That's a different group. Got different generations who may or may not be single, widowed, or divorced. This is their chance to the exercise environment or their customers. The socialization is as important as the activity. Is getting out and meeting people, which I suspect is important for other people, even though they may not overtly say so. And then lastly, you might have the harassed parent, the mum who's trying to juggle 3 different children at 4 different events every evening, and trying to manage the school run and also a household and work and whatever other commitments they might have, all the while not knowing what day it is. So how can we make their life easier? That's what we might think about there. We may think the customers have got a smooth journey, but they might be stuck in some IT hell. What we think has made our lives easier with use of artificial intelligence or systems actually makes their life more difficult. So we may cut resources and trim budgets and say this is really efficient. But in the meantime, the efficiency is passed on to the customer who has spent half an hour trying to find out how to book into something. So we need to understand that and see if our processes actually make their lives easier or they're just a nightmare for them. And then we have customers who are completely lost, like doing their own thing and don't want to align to what we're doing at all. But if they're still happy and healthy and safe, so be it. We can't think. All this does is shed some light on the real situation in the organization. Where are our staff? Where are our customers? Are we all under the same banner? Do we know where we're going? If we don't ask the questions and we don't understand, we've got no light and we're operating in the dark. Once we understand this, we can start clarifying objectives. If you have 100 objectives, you have no objectives because you can't do them. If you're chasing 100 chickens, you'll catch no chickens. And how many of your organizations doing that? We've got to do this, and this is our top 5, 10 priorities. I suggest you have 0 priorities. Focus on one thing, maybe a second thing, and do it really well. You can get small wins that way, quick wins as well, and get staff on side. It's easier for staff know which chicken they're trying to catch rather than all of them. For those who've interviewed for jobs, one of the alarm bells that ring when you see a job advertised is the list of capabilities and objectives that are required of the individual student. You think, I'm sure really that place knows what's going on. And you need to communicate with the staff once you've gathered the information. Which way are we going? Which route are we taking? Make sure everyone's clear, they've got the correct directions and they've got the equipment in which to navigate. Communication does not just mean talking, it means listening as well, making sure and checking their understanding. It also means not being an autocrat. Howard B.R. in his book, It's Not About the Coffee, he was one of the founders of Starbucks, said the person who sweeps the room should choose their own broom. So if you've got staff who know their jobs, it's not your responsibility to micromanage what equipment they should use or how they do it. It's to make life easier. So you might give them a budget and say, right, you've got £15 to choose the best broom. You go and choose it. Rather, and if you work in big organizations, you've got group purchase orders where you have to buy a light bulb from Timbuktu because someone's got a discount to make it 1 pence cheaper per light bulb. But really, you could just go down to the local builders merchants and get the light bulb fixed straight away. Get the staff to choose their own broom. It gives them a sense of autonomy and it allows them to get on with their job better. Which brings me to the next point. So I took this from, bear with me. I took this from Wade Gilbert's Coaching Better Every Season. And here's 3 things we make sure that we do with every athlete or after every session training at our club. Do the athletes have choice and autonomy? And again, the perception of choice is as important as actual choice. We choose the broom. You might say, well, here's your budget, or here's 3 brooms to choose from. Here's in the gym, it might be, right, choose your own partner. It might be, okay, you can choose a dumbbell or a barbell, or you can choose which exercise order. The choice and autonomy, it gives people a sense of independence. In your department, in your organization, do the staff have any autonomy, or are they just robots being told what to do and how to do it? There's a need to feel connected to others. I mentioned that with the older ladies in the photograph, but everyone needs to feel connected to others. And for those that experienced the COVID-19 lockdowns, that's especially important and really emphasized it coming back when the club reopened. Do they get a chance to interact with each other? Or are you the dominant figure suppressing all other conversations? If you suppress those conversations, you're not allowing those connections to build. So that's important. And the other thing people want to do is to learn and feel competent. I can't do my job. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. We need to help them. So that might be giving, when we said about meeting them in the Bahamas and building them up, starting where they are, giving them skills, spending time and patience. So as a coach, I teach a lot. So I think a good coach is always a good teacher. As a leader, are you able to teach, or are you allowed to bring people in? Able to bring people in who can teach the staff so they do feel competent. And if they feel competent, they're more motivated. So these three things are important to motivate staff. And then we know we're all pulling together in the same direction. And once you've got that, you have a happy organization, or at least a motivated organization that we can navigate any obstacles. So if any speed bumps or little ice patches or ice flows go in the way, these are minor things that we can navigate because we know where we're going. If you don't know where you're going, every little obstacle becomes a major barrier because we get lost or we get distracted. We found our true north. We know where we're going. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, or share in the section below.